Hello and welcome to the New Era show live on IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We've got a great night of boxing ahead for you, so let's not waste any more time and let me throw to you to our MC in the ring, Terry Gaucho.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Brexit Association and for MTK London and MTK Global, live on IFL TV and sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Brentwood Centre, this is the New Era! Our officials at ringside, our area representatives are Mr. Des Rees, Mr. Bill Edwards. Our inspectors at ringside, Mr. Alan Spelling, Mr. Chris Bartram, Mr. Terry Martin, and Mr. Ben Harmsworth. Our referees, ladies and gentlemen, we flip-flop in between Mr. Jeff Hines and Mr. Chaz Coakley. And our timekeepers at the bell are alternating between Mr. Bob Edgeworth and Mr. John Smith. That's the officials, and now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with the action. It's our first contest of the evening. It's a super welterweight contest scheduled for 4 3-minute rounds. Please welcome to the ring from Helper, Slovakia, Rudolf, Soldier Boy, DURICA!
So this is our opening fight of the night. 4 rounds between Rudolf DURICA and Martin McDonald. DURICA looking at an age these days. Quite a few losses on his record with 1 stoppage against Louis Green. 4 rounds on Harley Penn in his last fight. He's up against skilled operator Martin McDonald. Saw his debut not that long ago.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the ring from Kent, Isle of Sheppey, Martin McDonald!
Well, McDonald's got very good pedigree. He got to a number of very high-level contests in his pretty brief time as an amateur. He won the final of the British Championships a couple of years ago. Took the fight a very short notice against Donald Smith, who really is a top-level performer and lost that fight. Came off second best against Little Cormac in the England League final, and then last December the GB champs again, lost against Conor Loftus. So defeats, but all against really good operators. You'll see when you get a look at him in a few minutes. If you've not watched him boxing before, there's a lot of skill there. There's still a lot of physical strength to come through.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first contest of the evening. It's a super welterweight contest scheduled for 4 3-minute rounds. Introducing first and boxing out of the red corner, wearing the black shorts, weighing in at 10 stone, 9.5 pounds. He comes to the ring for his 24th professional fight from Helper, Slovakia, Rudolf, Soldier Boy, DURICA! And his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the red shorts, weighing in at 10 stone, 5 pounds. He comes to the ring with a 100% fight record, 2 wins from 2 professional fights. From Kent's Isle of Sheppey, Martin McDonald! Your timekeeper at the bell is Mr. John Smith, and your referee in charge of the action is Mr. Chaz Coakley.
So Chaz Coakley calling the 2 fighters to the centre of the ring, sidling into a seat next to me. The commentary tonight is Richie Gray. Myself, Andy Clark, Richie Gray. Spencer Fearon will be along later on as well. Or newly retired Richie Gray, we'll get into that a little bit later on. Very smart, he looks too, suit and tie. He's a working man these days. But this is the first fight of the night. This slated as super welterweight, that's not the weight division that McDonald will be in when he looks to try and challenge the titles. It's that little bit heavier, and he's not bothered about giving away a bit of weight here, McDonald. I'm sure his debut, Rich, I think, not that long ago, and he knew about it from the amateurs with Bonner, and he's a slick, skillful boxer who, when you look at his frame, has still got quite a lot of strength to come, you would say, physically.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a young man's body still, but he's got the skill, like we've seen him a couple of times now, in his amateur background. For DURICA, he's really awkward. It's really hard to look good against him, so tonight, if he manages to look good tonight, he's done a good job of himself.
Well, the one stoppage he's had so far, DURICA, was against Louis Green. who went into Ultimate Boxer, I think. He was Southern Area welterweight champion. And as you say, he's one of those awkward kinds of customers. He's a bit herky-jerky, DURICA, comes in from distance there with a left hand and then took his feet back fairly effectively there, although McDonough snapped off a couple of shots and it looked quite good from a few rows back. None of it really landed. Yeah,
DURICA's a bit of a regular visitor here nowadays. He's been on most of the MTK shows I've been to recently, so he probably feels more at home than McDonough at this point.
Well, he was a fairly late recruit, I think, as well.
White looking good. You don't see many boys land clean shots. I don't know if it's the southpaw stance that's helping Martin here, but DURICA normally stays just outside of range from these shots. He's an ex kickboxer, I believe, so he's got that awkward style, long leg out in front of him, and the boxers struggle to get around that foot. Martin's, I suppose, as a southpaw, that's half the battle being a southpaw, is getting around that lead leg to land your shot, so he's at an advantage.
Good left to the body there from McDonough just as he stepped in. DURICA just kind of walking forward, letting go that right hand and stamping with the front foot, trying to draw something from McDonough. He's definitely come to have a go here though, DURICA, which is always good. It's made for quite an entertaining first round so far. You
do find with these away fighters, some days they're different. It depends on how they wake up that day. Some days they really want to make a fight out of it, and I think if DURICA doesn't fight back tonight, Martin will beat him up. So sitting back and getting his rounds in is not really an option for him. He'll have to keep Martin off him tonight.
Just looking to peck with that southpaw jab again there, McDonough. A backhand gets through. It's amazing how often that southpaw straight left just finds a target. Often it doesn't really seem to do anything particularly special, but orthodox fighters, right-handers, just seem mesmerised by it at times.
He's been pretty successful with it early on in this fight. Nice hook and backhand there. He's a smart kid. Martin. He'll be looking for these openings. I don't think much of what he does is random. You see some boys, they just swing and hope. I feel like he sets most of his up. You see he's taking his time, looking at what's in front of him, throwing feints, and especially for his age, you know, that's pretty impressive. It's hard. Yeah. It'd be easy for him to get reckless at this point.
No, I would have to agree. He's definitely got an old boxing head on young shoulders. Started boxing very, very young, and you can tell because the longer you've been in there, the less apprehensive you are, the more you've seen, and the more confident you are, quite simply. And I do expect him to do well. It's just, he's definitely one of those fighters, though, where there's no rush, because you said it at the start, and you're right, he does still have a kind of a boy's body, really. Be interested to see what weight he ends up at.
That'll make a big difference over the next 2 or 3 years. Some boys may go up 3 weight divisions. Sounds a lot right now, but it happens, and he may settle into that, and he wouldn't. If he does grow that way, the worst thing he could do is try and stay at the same weight division. He's in good shape now. Eat well, stay in the gym, and if he naturally grows, he naturally grows. Even if he doesn't grow in size, his body will fill out internally, so he will get heavier as he gets older.
So into the second round, DURICA in the black, Martin McDonough in the red with the green shamrock and the Union Jack on the side as well. MTK fighter. 2 fights, 2 wins so far. Both of them have gone the distance over 4 rounds. Debut was against Fons Alexander, who gave him a pretty good appraisal afterwards. He's been in with lots of fighters, Fons, and I think he was pretty impressed with McDonough.
He likes a good fight. Fons. He likes to give boys a hard night's work.
He definitely does. He's one of my favourites, actually, I must admit, of the away corner fighters. And it's easy to have soft spots for all of them, because as a commentator, you're never allowed to be biased, but it's fine to be a bit of a fan of the Road Warriors, I think, because you see what they give every week.
I'm sure the Road Warriors will appreciate it as well. They don't have miles of fans queuing up to see them, so I'm sure they appreciate when they hear someone say they enjoy watching them fight.
Good left hand from McDonough there as DURICA just fell in behind his right hand. Caught him nice and clean on the way in.
That hook, that is multiple times he's landed that lead hook now. DURICA seems to be taking them well, but if he decides to sit on his feet and lands one of them, you know, he may put a bit of a dent in DURICA. Most of the boys that box him, their biggest trouble is trying to land, and Martin seems to have no trouble landing these shots tonight.
No, you're right. He's had no trouble whatsoever in landing, particularly that right-hand side. He's always looking to step away to his right, just pull away to his right-hand side, looking for the left of the body. did it again there. Didn't really land the left to the body, but it still left him in a good position to throw another combination. Left to the body, right upstairs, and again.
Another combination on the way out. He always ends these exchanges landing his own shots. Even he hasn't been caught with much clean himself anyway, but even when he's rid off a shot or took one off the top of the head, he's landing clean shots to end these exchanges. Once again with that lead.
Well, DURICA just cannot stay out of the way of that lead right hook.
The basis of his defence is using them long legs and long arms to get in people's way, and tonight I feel like Martin's figured that out from the start, and without that, DURICA's not really got a plan B for defence.
Looking to try and unload a right hand to the body there. DURICA didn't really work. He's not looked in any trouble yet, the away fighter, but he's just getting peppered with punches. Again there, the left hand gets through off the back of another 1-2. It's good, crisp, accurate stuff from McDonough. He's happy enough at that kind of three-quarter range. Throwing short, sharp shots most of the time. Well, halfway through this one, scheduled for 4, Martin McDonough with 2 rounds in his pocket there is looking good.
Yeah, I mean, two clear rounds won for him tonight, and I think he's learning something for tonight as well. It is one-way traffic. He's winning the rounds comfortably, but DURICA is fighting back and he's giving him something to think about.
Inside the Brentwood Centre already. Lots of tickets been sold for tonight. Top of the bill, we've got Adam Harper against Billy Bird for the vacant English super welterweight title, which should be a great fight. It's floated around a few different dates, this one, and delighted that we've got it here tonight. English title fight is always tremendous viewing. I saw Matt McCarthy actually a few minutes ago just sitting behind us, and he had a great scrap with Billy Bird, didn't he? He'll be sitting there tonight thinking, this could have been me.
He's sitting right behind us now. I'm sure he's sitting here thinking tonight when that fight's on, he's going to have his eye on it. I know he would like to chase a rematch there.
Well, he was originally supposed to be on this bill, but a few other things outside the ring just overtook that, so he thought the best thing to do would be to step back and make sure he got back involved when he was completely ready. And the level that he wants to go back in at, that's absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah, when you're fighting around this English and Southern area title level, you don't want to go in there. It's not, these ain't journeymen. They're not there just to give you a move around. They're there to hurt you and win and move on with their careers. So I think making the right decision. This is getting a bit tasty here in this round now. Both from looking to go to work a little bit.
Well, more good work there again from McDonough, landing that left hand that time, and has a good combination and just spins off to his right hand side.
I'm really impressed with Martin's work tonight. I mean, I've seen DURICA box many times here, and he looks, and all boxers that are boxing will tell you the same thing. It's not that he's great or fantastic, he's just so awkward to land shots on. And Martin's doing a great job tonight of not missing very much against an opponent that has a reputation for being awkward.
Referee just having a quick word with DURICA about holding around the back of the head, and maybe the head just coming in a little bit there too. Missed with the left hand that time, McDonough, but he's always pulling away to that right hand side, and DURICA just doesn't really seem to be able to operate on that particular angle.
When he gets caught with a shot, he does that step back and stance. Not every time, but a lot of the time it seems to be his recomposure stance. Okay, I've been it in now, don't do that again.
I wonder if in the final round, which isn't too far away now, the corner might ask McDonough for just 2 phases of attack, just to put his punches together a little bit more. He's looked good here. He's done everything that you could really have asked of him.
Yeah, there's not really too much he could do different. Like you say, maybe if he doubled up on the attack, he might catch DURICA as he does that step off here, take a straight step back in again, straight away, and he landed a clean shot doing it there. I mean, he follows up with 2 and 3. That's being super critical, of course, because he's not like he's not really stepped foot wrong so far.
No, he really hasn't. It's been a good performance snapping out that jab again. This, if it goes a distance, and you'd imagine it will be the third time in a row he's done the 4 full rounds, and that's never a bad thing early on. You see a lot of fighters get some quick blowouts, and it looks good on the record, but it often doesn't really tell you a great deal. It can be good for confidence, can't it? But with someone like McDonough, who's obviously, as I say, been boxing a long time and is confident in what he's doing, I don't think he necessarily needs that.
No, he's confident enough. He knows his ability. He's got all the skill. A knockout, when he gets around 4 and 5, if he gets a stoppage here and there, that'll boost his confidence. But rounds are good for developing your skills, and he's got the amateur skills. Now turn them into the professional games a little bit different. These rounds will be so valuable to him. It wouldn't benefit him to get into his 10th fight boxing exactly the same as he was as an amateur, because if he's knocked everyone out early and then he gets into a 10-rounder, he's going to box with his amateur style. They can burn up a lot of energy early, so getting these rounds in will help him settle into the longer rounds over a longer fight.
That's exactly it. Very well put, as you move up through 4, 6, 8, 10 and take it through those steps. Gives you that time to acclimatise. So 4th and final round between these two.
Mine's a good hands with the Rumbles team over there though, so I'm sure they'll be guiding him along nicely. A lot of people in attendance tonight, a lot of familiar faces. I feel like it's going to be a busy night tonight. I believe I read it was all sold out as well.
It is. It's been sold out for a while actually. There's some debuts tonight, which is always interesting. And some kind of bigger name fighters in the likes of Jake Ball, Danny Dignam, Louis Lin, who we've seen on some good stages in recent months, getting an outing. Left hand there from McDonough was maybe a little bit low, just caught DURICA around about the hip. Sam McNess, he's back out tonight too.
Sam McNess is in a great fight tonight, I believe. Is that fight still on?
He's got Innocent Anyanwu, who we saw against Sier Ozgor here a few months back, who's a tough fighter. He'll be a tough opponent.
Martin's corner there telling him not to show it. I think maybe it's getting to the last round. He's feeling ahead. He's probably feeling the pace a little bit now. He's making a couple of mistakes. No, he's not getting tagged for making mistakes, but his corner effectively would want him not to make mistakes just because a big puncher may catch him. It's a good learning time. When you're feeling this, you're in front of the crowd. Sparring, but when you're in there and you're feeling this way, rounds he'll get here tonight while he's feeling it are so much more valuable than any sparring rounds you'll get.
Good left to the body from McDonough a few seconds ago. He's found that a number of times so far. As I said, DURICA's never looked in trouble, but he's just not ever been allowed into the fight. I can't really remember a single clean shot that he's landed on McDonough worth mentioning anyway throughout the course of these 4 rounds.
Watching McDonough from this fight to the last few fights we've seen him, I feel like he's come on, he's developed, he's settled down a little bit more. The first fights, he was very bouncy, moving around a lot. He's settled a little bit more now. He's still not getting hit, he's still using his footwork, but he's not bouncing around so much. I think there's been great improvement from him.
Well, he'll be wanting to get back out again as soon as he possibly can. Made his debut here at the end of April, has been out once since then, and I think he'll be hoping to probably fight a couple more times before the end of the year if he can. Nice jab. Didn't travel far at all there.
Again, successful that lead hook. That's been a shot for him all night, that really, hasn't it? All the other shots have landed cleanly, but when he lands that, I feel maybe it's the long hair of DURICA you see fly to the other side, and you think it makes the shot look like it's really impacted him.
It does. That's a good point.
From a judging or a tactical point of view, shave all your hair off, it looks like you're not getting hit as much.
So there goes the bell at the end of 4 rounds there between Martin McDonough and Rudolf DURICA. Good 4 rounds again for McDonough, who is improving every time we see him. He started from a good level, having achieved a lot really as an amateur, having reached a high level as an amateur, and he didn't hang around. He turned pro young, and as a result he has got time to take things at a steady kind of pace. But as you said, the improvement from the first time we saw him to the second time and now to this time has been quite noticeable. on each occasion, so it will be interesting to see how quick he might be able to move. But the fundamentals are definitely there, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. He's made the right improvements and the correct changes. It's easy to make changes, it's making the right ones that count, and I think he's making the right changes at this point.
So Chaz Coakley calling the two to the centre of the ring. I'm pretty sure this is going to be 40 points to 36 in favour of McDonough. I'll be astonished if it's anything else.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause, please, for both these young men starting us off tonight here at the Brentwood Centre in Essex. After 4 rounds of professional boxing, the scorecard is as follows. 40-36 in favour of your winner. And still, with a 100% record, now 3 from 3, Martin McDonough!
Were you pleased with that performance?
Yeah, I was pleased. Took it as it come. It was awkward, but stuck to the game plan in the box well.
He's a tough, durable opponent, but that sort of lead right hook seemed to really serve you well in the fight.
Yeah. I was catching. That's my main shot. The southpaw and catching with a leader all the time. I was stuck to the game plan. He was awkward, but got the job done.
I have to say the commentators were very impressed with you. They thought it was a great learning fight for you, but they've seen a definite, obvious progression throughout the 3 fights.
Definitely. I'm just going to take every fight as it comes and show all the super lightweights out there I'm coming.
Right, well, listen, well done. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Back to you, Andy.